Hi everyone and welcome to the inaugural episode of WCPW ReLoaded. I'm Kenny McIntosh and this is your one-stop shop for all things WhatCulture Pro Wrestling. We're going to be here every week to break down the episode of Loaded. We'll have guests and we're going to help you know more about the superstars of WCPW. On this week's show, we've got a packed lineup. We've got the WCPW General Manager, Adam Pacitti. He's here. You love it. Then we've also got another member of the Pacitti Club on the show, Jack the Jobber, your favourite child and mine. And then, since we have to be fair here on WCPW Reloaded, we do have Adam Blampied. He will be joining us in studio. I'm going to try to keep my food down my stomach while he's here, but he will be here. On episode 1 of WCPW Loaded, we saw the formation of Prospect as James R. Kennedy showed off his new prospects Alex Gracie and Lucas Archer. El Ligero defeated Martin Kirby, and in the main event, we saw the battle for Jack's affection as Big Damo defeated Joe Hendry. In the end, Adam Blampied shockingly had the WhatCulture Championship ripped up, no more cardboard belt, and Rampage would end up pile driving one of the WCPW security. Who knows what will happen next? And we're back here in WCPW Reloaded, and I am joined by a very special guest right now. He is the General Manager of WhatCulture Pro Wrestling, the one and only Adam Pacitti. Adam, nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So it's been a hectic few weeks.
Yeah, crazy first episode. Wasn't especially expecting it to end how it did, but you know, some of the best live wrestling I've ever seen, and we're all very proud of it.
Yeah, we are going to get to what happened at the end of episode 1 because it was pretty shocking for everyone involved. And
scumbag.
I think we want answers from you, so we are going to get to that just for people watching at home. But to kick us off, you were gone for a while, and I think people maybe they didn't know if you were going to come back to WhatCulture. They didn't know whether you'd just taken all your money and moved to the Caribbean. But instead, we got WCPW. Talk a little bit about the formation of that and how the first event went in your head compared to your expectations.
Absolutely. Well, back in December, Adam Blampied, sewer rat Adam Blampied, put me out of action, made me drink that Cena Colada, poisoned me. But during my time away, I set up WCPW, WhatCulture Pro Wrestling, signed some of the best talent in the world, Big Damo, Rampage Brown. I don't like him, but he's damn good. Did it live up to my expectations? Absolutely, and the feedback from the fans has been absolutely overwhelming. So many positive comments. There were issues in the first episode, but we're going to address those, and things are only going to get better from here.
And obviously, people want to talk about what happened at the end of episode 1 with Rampage and the pile driver and all that sort of stuff. We are going to get to that. But before we do, first of all, congratulations on the new WhatCulture World Championship.
It's a beautiful, beautiful specimen.
I think we can all agree it is a step up from the cardboard.
Mm-hmm. I want to keep it.
You want to keep it?
I want to keep it. Okay. It looks good on me.
It's a shame that we're not going to see people fighting for the cardboard belt, but I think ultimately you've made the right choice.
We've got a new cardboard belt, Kenny. It's covered in jewels and goggly eyes.
I like to not think about that, to be honest. So, in terms of WhatCulture Pro Wrestling, there's a lot of questions. We're going to get some tweets in just a second. Mm-hmm. Some of our viewers have sent in. But I guess for people who are not sure about what format it's going to take, what can people expect from WCPW long term? Like, in terms of are we going to see it become bigger and bigger and bigger? Is it going to stay an episodic format? What is it going to become?
Essentially, Vince McMahon, if you're watching, we're coming for you. No, WCPW is about the best in wrestling. You know, the in-ring product is paramount to everything else that goes on. But you're also going to see the comedy and the parody that WhatCulture is famous for. We've got a huge roster of talent who are doing absolutely amazing things. You're going to see matches that you wouldn't expect and you won't see elsewhere.
And you're going to see King Ross on commentary.
Yes,
which is
Simon Miller. Let's not discount Simon Miller.
I mean, it's hard. King Ross will do all he can to make you forget about Simon Miller, but he is absolutely a valued member of the commentary team. But let's get some tweets that some of our viewers have got for you. We've got a tweet here. Is every episode going to be streamed live like episode 1? I think that's a big question that people want to know. There's a lot of people, thousands and thousands of people, watching the first episode live as it's streamed.
We had 24,000 people watching live. The numbers are absolutely insane, and we're so thankful to all of the fans who did tune in that night.
I mean, that's pretty much 24,000 people. That's the list of maybe like 5 or 6 attendances for TNA pay-per-view all put together. So, but no, it's a great number, and I think a lot of people are and the numbers of people actually watching, maybe not live, are also great. And I think it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. The answer to your question is yes, WCPW will be streamed live every Monday at 10 o'clock British Standard Time. You can watch it around the world. It's free to watch, and then every segment from the episode will go up on the YouTube channel afterwards, and it's free.
There you go. 10 p.m. every Monday if you're in the UK, 5 p.m. Eastern in the States, 2 p.m. Pacific. But let's talk a little bit about the first episode and some of the stuff that happened.
Sure.
One of the things that a lot of people are talking about from the first episode is the battle between El Ligero and Martin Kirby. Signing these two guys is a pretty big coup, big stars. How did you feel the match went?
It was different. It as I say, it had the comedy that our viewers have grown to expect. It was, I think, a really great match, a really fun match to watch. I hate Martin Kirby with an absolute passion. The guy is a little bold dork, and he has wound me up already. I'm glad Ligero picked up the win. It was a great fun match.
And do you think, because from watching that first match and obviously Ligero getting the win, it seems like Kirby is not going to let this go. I mean, I can't imagine he's going to be okay with this. Like, I feel like he strikes me as someone who is not okay with a loss.
He's not okay with a lot of things. The man has a huge chip on his shoulder, and he absolutely just wants to be better than Ligero. And I'm not sure he is. He's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong.
He is.
But he's a little bold dog, and that's the most important thing.
I mean, speaking of people with a chip on their shoulder, from episode 1, I had the chance in the ring to interview Prince Amin from Gujarat, India, as I was corrected. He's come in with some big promises, and he was talking the big talk. He was talking about how he wants gold, he wants the WhatCulture championship.
Right.
However, when Joe Coffey came out,
he was gone. He left.
He wasn't able to back it up.
Right, as you say, Amin wants gold. That's all he's interested in. But if he's not able to back it up in the ring, I'm not interested, and I'm not going to give him a WCPW title match unless he's able to do so. You can't walk out of my ring. That's not the way it works.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Prince Amin picks himself up and tries to recover from it, because he came out, he tried to talk the talk, and he wasn't able to back it up. So I guess we'll see where he goes. So one of the things we're going to introduce on ReLoaded is every week we're going to have the move of the week, and we're going to get our guests to pick the move of the week. So you're the general manager, you put the matches together. From the first episode, what's the move of the week?
To me, it's an obvious one. Check this out.
Connors is calling for something. Wraps up, kid. Wait a minute. Righteous kill DDT. That is it. That has got to be it. We've seen that before. Well, not here. We haven't.
The kid is out of there.
Yeah, just look. I mean, Joseph Connors in that match, it was DDT City. He was
too right.
And I think he's one to watch. I think Joseph Connors strikes me as someone that people are going to underestimate wrongly. And I think he's going to climb up the ranks. It might not be as obviously as everyone else, but I think he's one to watch.
He's a very, very gifted wrestler. He's an in-ring technician, and some of the stuff that guy can do is crazy.
So next week, episode 2, big episode. Can you tease us with what we can expect?
I can do more than tease you. I can now reveal that El Ligero will face off against Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Lethal. And if Ligero wins, he will get a shot at that title.
I mean, that's a pretty big match.
That's pretty big.
I mean, El Ligero is a guy who a lot of people talk about, but he hasn't had that many chances at a championship like the Ring of Honor World title.
He's got a chance to earn one now.
And he does on episode 2. It's
big.
Yeah, it's a big announcement. You're knocking it out of the park once again.
You're welcome.
You love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been reading your tweets. I've been reading your YouTube comments. This is what you've been waiting for. I'm proud to announce the latest WCPW signing is... That's right, the saviour himself, formerly known as Damien Sandow. We got him! He will be competing at our July 27th and July 28th WCPW events, and we're also holding a live Q&A session with him down in London on July 26th, featuring as well some of your favourite WhatCulture personalities. Tickets are on sale for all of those events right now. My heart is pounding. You're welcome.
And we're back here on Reloaded, so it just makes sense that we get more of Pacitti Club in. We have with us today Jack the Jobber. Jack, I'm going to stretch over for the handshake.
How you doing, you alright?
We do this now, don't we? Is that not your thing?
Too sweet, innit?
Too sweet.
Oh.
Okay. Trademarked by other people. Jack, welcome to the show. I guess the thing that's interesting about the first episode was it was all building towards the match that is essentially the battle for your affection, where Big Damo took on Joe Hendry. Big Damo was victorious. He is now your guy. Talk a little bit about actually you having to try and decide between the two, and how you felt with you played PlayStation with Joe Hendry.
Yeah, we chilled on Sunday.
You saw Big Damo in his pants a lot.
Sounds very misleading, but yeah, I did, yeah.
But yeah, talk us through the whole thing, because you were essentially picking who was going to be the Pacitti Club's leader.
To be honest, the decision wasn't really in my hands. Like, they're just so much bigger than me, so much better men, that I just wasn't really, my preference didn't really factor in. Not that I had a preference. They both had their strengths, you know. Henry's got this infectious charisma. He's a fantastic athlete. He's a fantastic wrestler. And Damo's a massive guy. So they've both, you know. And I said, as you saw in the video where I confronted Damo in the office, it wasn't my choice at all. He put himself into the equation, and all I could do was stand back and let it happen. I didn't want to get involved in the match. Unfortunately, you know, the referee got knocked out, and I had to do what I had to do. I've seen people saying that I screwed Henry. I didn't at all.
King Ross did say on commentary that there was a fast count, which is ironic given certain aspects of your career. But how do you kind of respond to those allegations of a fast count?
I was, to be honest, I was absolutely terrified. So it was just the adrenaline. I thought I was making a conventional count. It might have come out a little bit fast, but what I will say is it was the same pace for both guys. Henry had a few pinfall attempts as well, and I just counted it exactly the same each time. So,
and still friends with Joe?
I've not really heard from him since. I really want to play, more PlayStation and with it, but.
Now we're going to get to a Twitter question in just a second, but I want to talk to you a little bit about some of episode 1. We obviously saw the triple threat match with Joseph Connors, Gabriel Kidd, and Alex Gracie, and then we saw the formation of Prospect with James R. Kennedy. What do you think about them as the prospects of WCPW?
I mean, I don't like them. I mean, you interviewed them on the ramp, didn't you? You said, what's going on here?
I did. It was chaos.
They're sort of a detestable couple of men, aren't they? Really, they're not very nice. But I'll give them credit where it's due. They've banded together into something that could be very powerful in WCPW. And Kennedy's a scary man. He's got some influence there,
and he's got a track record of managing successful wrestlers. So it's
but does he manage them or does he get in their head? Because he does that thing where he takes his sunglasses off and he looks them in the eyes, and I just think, I don't want to. There's some Men in Black stuff going on there. I don't want to get involved. He scares me, frankly.
I guess we'll see where James R. Kennedy and his prospects go. Before we get to the tweets, question for you, Mr. Pacitti, because I know a lot of people want to know the answer to this. Jack kind of took the reins of the Pacitti Club for you while you were away. How has he done? Performance evaluation here on Reloaded.
Absolutely. Jack is a magnificent talent, a very, very good friend, and I'm incredibly proud to be in the Pacitti Club with such a wonderful human being. And I'm tearing up here. No, I'm not.
Wow.
He's great. He's a great guy. Done us proud.
And Jack, I do have a Twitter question for you. The question is, how much did the jacket cost that Joe Hendry gave you? That's got to be pounds and pounds.
Yeah, pence and pence. I've got no idea, but I've had a few comments. King Ross said on commentary that I look like a half-eaten kebab, which was appropriate given that we were in Newcastle. I'm sure there's a lot of those lying around.
It's true. There's a lot of kebabs in Newcastle. Well, I mean, is there any chance? I mean, do you still have it? Is there any chance we could see this as a sort of exclusive collector's item?
I don't think so. I think that would only enrage Damo. And now that he's won the match, I've got to fully, throw my support behind him.
So you've got to just put it in the wardrobe and just forget about it.
Yeah. I might whip it out for special occasions, but not.
If it turns up on eBay, grab it now. And we're back here in WCPW Reloaded, and it is time to talk about another segment from the first episode with the Pacitti Club, Jack and Adam. A bit more of a serious tone here. Obviously, the pile driver at the end of the episode from Rampage is something that a lot of people are discussing.
I'll have that. And it's time for your WTF moment of the week from WCPW Loaded Episode 1. And it's Miller o'clock, motherfuckers. How could he not say El Ligero? Ligaro. I think Eddie Guerrero even came out as well. Ligero. It's a simple word to say. Yep. He's not very good, is he? Right, there you go.
Cheers, King.
I'll be on my way. Bye.
So, let's talk a little bit about the more serious aspect, which is the pile driver that happened last week. But before we do talk about that, you know, in the interest of fairness, I did say this had to happen. I do need to introduce our final guest here on Reloaded. He is the man behind Rampage. He is Adam Blampied.
Hello, pals! And it's all just got better instantly. Hi, Jack. Good to see you. Pacitti. Kenneth. So, what are we talking about? Rampage? Rampage's inevitable victory? Cool. What about it?
Lovely
King.
to have you here, Adam.
It's good to be here. It's always good to be here. Do you have enough space there, mate? No. So, what can I do for you?
So, I mean, before we talk about the pile driver, which obviously everyone wants to know, I do have a Twitter question that I feel like, I mean, I don't really care, but I know a lot of people do care
the
about
Twitter
it.
question that I fed you in advance. Yeah, if you could just read that out for everyone listening, but most particularly for Jack the Jobber listening.
Okay. The Twitter Jack, I'm sorry. The Twitter question is, can Jack get a real character, or will he just be there jobbing to Adam Blampied? Hashtag the best.
So what's that, man? You ever going to get a real character, or are you just going to be a pathetic...
Sorry,
sort of-
Kenny. I'm sick of this sort of thing. I'm just going to go as all right.
Jack, we can't lose the Jobber. No, Jack, come... You're welcome, guys. I saw the look in your eyes. You wanted that to happen. So now you've got just me. Let's talk seriously, shall we? Rampage Brown. Yeah?
Well, it's an interesting situation. Rampage,
Well, it's not really. It's more of a formality, Kenny. Like, it's almost a spoiler to say that Rampage will defeat whoever comes up against him for the WCP Championship. This thing. Bit small, isn't it, mate?
The thing is, you know, you brought Rampage into WCPW,
Right.
and it's very clear what your plans are for him.
Yeah, he's going to
But
be the champion.
Before that, you know, a question that a lot of people have been tweeting and asking people at WhatCulture Pro
Yeah, what
Wrestling,
did the eggs been saying?
whether it was me, is, you know, why did you... Well, I'm going to read it out in the joke form that this listener sent in,
Right.
or viewer sent in, because, you know, it's a pun. Why did Adam have to get the belt torn up, the cardboard belt? Was he on a rampage?
Oh, because he's called Rampage.
That's the gag.
That's good.
But come on, you know, the cardboard belt. You are the cardboard belt, essentially. It's what you've been known for months and months and months.
Kenny, I know how much of a fan you are of the cardboard belt. And don't worry, we'll get the pieces kind of repaired and I'll send that to your house personally. You don't have to worry about that. But look, man, we've got a brand new world heavyweight title belt. Look at it. It's made of steel. It's made of proper leather. Look, the world heavyweight WhatCulture title, it took us to the place that we are now, but now that we're here, we're better than it, frankly. That is the prize, my friends. That is what Rampage is fighting for. That is what Rampage will be walking away with.
Well, here's the issue. I think is there's no doubt about Rampage's ability. We've all seen it. He is a specimen.
Yeah.
He is absolutely one of the best
He put a man
wrestlers
in
out
a
there.
hospital, okay?
However, at the end of episode 1, Rampage put his hands on a member of the WCPW security team.
They got in the ring with him. What were they expecting to happen? A cuddle? That's not Rampage Brown's style.
But
if you get in the ring and try to put your hands on Rampage Brown, he will put his hands on you, as you yourself found out to your detriment.
They weren't putting their hands on Rampage Brown. What he did was completely inexcusable. This time next week, you're not going to be laughing.
Kenny, I have to say, your guests are just dropping like flies. What kind of show are you running here?
I mean, my show was fine until you got here, but you insist upon spreading your lovely charm
Well,
through WCPW. But we've got you here, and I think we need to keep going. What do you make of that? Adam is clearly telling you that you're not going to be happy. I don't know what he's going to do. He's the general manager. He has the power.
what's he going to do?
I mean,
What power does he actually have? He knows, right, that I and Rampage are pretty much the number 1 and number 2 draws in WCPW. It's hard to say who's number 1 and who's number 2. It fluctuates. But basically, if he feels like he's going to exercise some repercussions on the most valuable members of his brand, his company, he's got another thing coming. I'm not scared of Adam Pacitti. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of anyone. The only person I am scared of is Rampage Brown, because he will break your neck, will break Pacitti's neck. He'll do whatever he has to do to walk away with that title.
but let me ask you this question. What if the repercussion next week is that Adam Pacitti fires Rampage?
Why would he do that? Why would he do It's just bad showmanship. You don't get rid of your top attraction. You don't fire King Kong when he's just ready to start tearing stuff up. It's ridiculous that you would even posit that question. And frankly, it throws this entire show into some sort of disrepair. How dare you question Rampage Brown's place on the card in WCPW? He will be around long after you're fired from this place, my friend. He will be around. He's going to be the champion. Once you put that belt around his waist, you will have to kill him to get it off. And no one is capable of that.
We're going to have to see what happens when Adam Pacitti next week tells you what's going to happen.
Am I done? Am I done here?
Before you go, we are contracted that our guests have to have input here. I dread to ask who you're going to pick here, but we want to ask who the star of the week is from episode 1. All the great action we've had in episode 1. Who stuck out to you, Adam, as the star of episode 1?
Well, I feel like I should obviously say Rampage Brown, but I'm going to have to go with myself. I really thought I pulled it out of the bag. That closing segment was electric. I mean, the comments don't lie, do they? I'm brilliant.
And modest, by the sounds of it.
Modesty's a sucker's game.
But, there's one other thing from episode 1 that we've not talked about. Our other guests haven't talked about it, and you haven't talked about it either.
Right.
During episode 1, there was a man that we saw backstage. We talked about Rampage, how much of a specimen he is. But I saw the Primate.
Oh, yes.
And he looks like he could be pretty devastating here in WCPW. In fact, next week is his in-ring debut.
Against Drake, I believe.
Against Drake, who will be our guest next week on this show.
Well, if he survives long enough to make it to this sofa. I saw Primate. He looks like an absolute monster. He's a beast, not a man, and I respect that. I look very much forward to seeing how he holds himself next week. I expect it to be short but brutal.
Well, from Adam Blampied, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you.
You do
stopping
appreciate
by.
me. Everyone appreciates me. Bye, Ken.
So that's it for episode 1 of Reloaded. As you can see, tensions are high here in WCPW. And the big thing is, next week on episode 2, we're going to find out what Adam Pacitti is going to do. Rampage pile drove one of our security team. That can't keep happening. I don't know what Adam's going to do, but I'm certain that Adam Blampied will not be smiling next week. I'll be back with Drake as my special guest. We'll also have another WTF moment from King Ross and much more. Thanks for watching. Comment below, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next week.